How's everybody doing? Awesome. Very, very excited to be here. And one more real round of applause and thank you to all the amazing nonprofits and organizations that are helping with so many incredibly important efforts right now, as Carrie mentioned. So please give them a round of applause. So we have a very exciting event and conference this year. So again, thank you very much. This is the 7th BoxWorks. We really appreciate everyone taking the time. Who's excited for DJ Snoop Dogg tomorrow night? So Carrie was referencing something. You can go on Twitter at some point and check it out. There was this interesting cloud euphemism exchange online once with Mr. Dog, and it was quite an interesting thing. I don't know if you've noticed a pattern about our musical events and after parties. So over the years, we've had Blink-182, Weezer, Third Eye Blind, Jimmy Eat World. So obviously Snoop Dogg was next, and so we're really excited about the after party tomorrow. But we have a lot of great stuff in store that we're really excited to share. At Box, our mission is to power how the world works together. What we get really excited about is building software that helps people and organizations be able to share, collaborate, and get their best work done. And we're incredibly excited to now have over 76,000 customers that are using Box, including 65% of the Fortune 500. So, and obviously, everyone and many in this room are included in that. So thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. And we have over 100,000 developers on the platform, so we're seeing amazing applications being built by so many of you in this room and in this audience, and we really appreciate that support as well. And what gets us really excited is the fact that there are organizations of all sizes and all industries all around the world, companies that are 3 or 5 or 10 employees all the way up to some of the world's largest organizations and businesses. And in particular, some of the most exciting organizations with amazing missions. So organizations like NASA that are quite literally helping expand and understand the universe. And organizations like General Electric that are redefining what it means to be a digital industrial company in this new age. Companies like Spotify that are reinventing the media industry and changing how we consume media content and are entertained. And then startups that are now well past the startup phase, but companies like Airbnb that are reinventing hospitality and travel. And we're going to actually hear from Brian Chesky a little bit later today about how he and his team has been able to build up that organization and really be a disruptive force in their industry. And what all of these companies have in common is they've embraced the digital age. They were either founded from the ground up to be a digital company, so they were either started in a kind of post-digital and cloud world, or they've recognized the need to shift to go digital. So companies like Procter & Gamble, General Electric, Toyota, Coca-Cola, and many others, obviously in this room, have recognized that they have to be able to adapt to this new environment that we're working and operating in. And what we see is that business in the digital age is fundamentally different. There are some significant differences between doing business now in the digital age from where we've previously been. Markets are changing faster than ever before. There is literally no industry that is not in some form of change or influx. And this is because competition is more intense. We see that the cost of starting a company is lower than ever. There's opportunity to go and be a disruptor in so many different industries. We're seeing this from healthcare to life sciences to financial services to retail to automotive and transportation. In fact, literally the only industry that is not facing disruption right now is the juicing industry. So if you are, I don't know if we have any Tropicana or Ocean Spray people in the audience, but you're safe. So you can probably actually leave. You don't really even need to be here. You guys are good. So we're seeing disruption happen in so many different industries. We see that our partner ecosystems are in flux. So obviously, if your company has to change, that means that your partners have to change as well, which means that our entire ecosystems are constantly having to change and having to adapt to this new environment. One day your partner is your competitor. The next day you actually have to go and partner with your original competitors. We also see that there's new cybersecurity threats and new regulations. So whether you're doing business globally or your customer base is global, it means that you have to fundamentally adapt to this new regulatory environment and deal with all of the new cybersecurity threats that we face. And then finally, customer expectations have never been higher. We as consumers, we want services delivered 24/7. We want them to be personalized just for us, and we are incredibly fickle. Just ask this guy. What is that? Is that like, oh, AIM is gone. We're so sad. Okay, I want to hear from you if you're still using AIM. Okay. But seriously, this is how sad things have gotten. We can't even rely on these kinds of fixtures in our society anymore. And so we know that every company must become a digital business. And what we tend to see is that the digital in digital businesses, the focus on the application, the experience that our products are creating. And that's very, very natural. But what we tend to miss sometimes is that to become a digital business, we actually have to operate in the digital world. We have to operate through a fundamentally different set of principles and ways that we're going to run our organizations and businesses and cultures as an organization. And so what we see is that there's a pretty significant difference between the legacy world and operating in a digital environment. The first is that the speed of business is just so much faster. So in the legacy operating environment, we could build products every 1 or 2 or 3 years. And today we have to be able to compete and deliver new innovation in market instantaneously, which means that we need to be able to work in real time. We need to be much more agile. We need cultures that are much more open and transparent so the best ideas can be surfaced throughout the organization, whether those ideas come from the intern or the CEO. In the case of Box, let's make it the CEO, please. But otherwise, anybody in the organization should be able to contribute and be able to drive innovation. We know that we're moving from a world where we focused on all of our resources within our organization. All the talent was in our organization. And now we're moving to an environment where we have to rely on an extended enterprise. And we're actually going to hear from Brian Chesky a little bit later about what it means to build an ecosystem where you don't necessarily own the fundamental asset that your consumers are interacting with. And so how do you build a hospitality network in this completely new digital age? We know that we used to rely on a lot of guesswork and intuition to make decisions because we didn't have real-time telemetry from our products and we didn't know all of the market signals that we now have access to. And so we have to fundamentally rely on new data-driven decision-making to be able to drive our businesses forward. And with better data and with updated software, we know that we can begin to automate some of the traditionally manual tasks that go into our organizations. So we can go and deliver better and better experiences for consumers and make sure that we're spending time on the most important activities in our organizations. And then finally, as we move toward the digital age, it means that our intellectual property, the proprietary information that we care about, cannot just be housed within the 4 walls of our organization. We're transacting over the internet. We're sharing and collaborating globally. So we need a completely different security model for the enterprise in the digital age. We have to think about omnipresent security, security that's baked in natively into the work that we're doing. So this is the future of work in the digital age. And we think it fundamentally changes everything about how we use our information, how we work with our data, and we think that information is at the heart of the digital age. And so how we manage it, how we share it, how we secure it, how we organize it, how we get value out of it, all of these things are going to matter in a tremendous way to the way that we run our businesses and the way that we organize our companies. And so we think that organizations will either be enabled by, we're either going to be able to move faster because of our technology, we're either going to be able to make decisions more quickly and introduce better products faster, or we're going to be slowed down by our technology. Our organizations are not going to be able to compete in the digital age if we don't actually make sure we have the right systems and processes and ways of doing business. And we think in a lot of cases that outdated information technology and business process is holding us back. So these two things combined is preventing so many organizations from being able to adapt to the digital age. In our case in particular, when you think about content management and you think about collaboration, there's really been 4 major eras of this technology space. You go back to the early 90s, you have network file shares and storage infrastructure. Then we wanted better control of our content. We wanted better control of our data. We wanted to govern it. We wanted to manage it more effectively. So you needed enterprise content management systems. But then people wanted to be able to share files externally. We wanted to be able to get access to content on mobile devices. So then we wanted to be able to share files through file sharing tools. And then we wanted to be able to deliver new experiences to our customers, to our clients, to the extended enterprise. And so we built applications in the cloud. And while each of these technology platforms made complete sense at the point when they were delivered, we all zoom back now and we see that our architecture is in many cases a complete mess with so many different systems, with so much different technology that we're using to get our jobs done. And so what this means is for end users, our work is fragmented. Our work is all over the place. We can't find the information that we need effectively. Our business processes are disconnected. Take a look at the example of a marketing team that has a lot of data that they have stored in a network file share. Then they need to move it into a digital asset management system. Then they need to share it externally with a client. And then all of a sudden, that data just goes through email. So all of the technology that we spent time investing in and implementing to manage and secure and govern and control that data, all of a sudden that was completely a waste because people are just going to send email attachments. So our business processes are fundamentally disconnected. And if our business processes are disconnected and our data is everywhere, then it means it's really, really hard to secure our information. And this is obviously leading to a lot of vulnerability that we see within large enterprises especially. So this is a complete nightmare for IT. It's a complete nightmare for end users. Literally the only audience that actually likes this is apparently Pac-Man. So that was good, actually. We didn't know if that was going to get a laugh. So the design team wins this round. OK. Oh, wow. That's the first clap of the day. Oh, right. All right, you guys are going to make me look really bad. I was like, this is not going to work. Nobody's going to get a Pac-Man joke with enterprise content management. It's the wrong two industries combined. All right, so last year we were up here and we said, what if you had one platform that helped you work in the digital age? We said, what if we could go and solve this problem where it wasn't a nightmare to work with your information, where you could collaborate more effectively, where we could work faster, we could make better decisions, we could have access to all of the information that we needed at our fingertips? Well, we thought it would need a handful of characteristics. It would have to be able to enable collaboration and business process across the extended enterprise. So it couldn't just be confined to your organization. We figured that it had to be secure and compliant for every industry and every geography. So again, even if you are not in a regulated industry, you likely have customers or partners or suppliers that are, which means that you're eventually going to be impacted by the same level of regulation that your most regulated customers are working on. It would also have to be integrated into all of the applications that you already work in or that your employees already work in, whether it's Facebook Workplace and people want to be able to collaborate there, or Slack, or Office 365, or Google Suite, or any other application. So it would have to be enabling content to be accessed from all of those different locations. And then finally, it would have to be designed for the needs of end users, for developers, and for IT. So it would have to be dead simple for all of us as users. It would have to be incredibly secure, compliant, and robust for the enterprise. And it would have to be open so developers can build on top of it, embed that content into other applications. That would be the sort of intersection that we would have to design this for. And so we think this is what cloud content management is all about. And over the past decade, we've been working on building the leading cloud content management platform. And all of that starts with content at the center. So we focused on how do we build the best way to be able to manage, organize, share, collaborate around content. So we build all of the underlying capabilities to help you do that, and that is at the core of what we do. But then around that content, we have a bunch of advanced capabilities to help you secure it, govern it, and manage it at an enterprise scale. So things like Box KeySafe for encryption key management, capabilities like Box Zones for multi-data residency, the ability to have advanced protection policies so you have all the permission levels that you need to ensure that data is only shared with the right people at the right time, capabilities like Box Governance for information governance, compliance, and a new product that we'll be sharing a little bit early next year, Box Insights as well. So this is cloud content management from Box. This is what we have been building over the past decade, and we're really, really excited to be delivering for our customers. And we're really proud to share that Gartner has named us the most visionary company in this space as well. So that's also good to have happen. Literally, I know you guys get a lot of magic quadrants emailed to you. If there's one magic quadrant you pay attention to, though, please make it be this one. So for the love of God, we worked really hard on this. You'll notice that our dot, there's a lot of distance between our dot and the other dots. So that's sort of what matters here. So we're very proud of our Gartner dot. This is, oh, thank you. 7 claps, good. So over the past year, we've been working to extend these enterprise capabilities even further. So that ring around your content and metadata and collaboration, this is obviously what really, really matters when you're thinking about protecting and securing and organizing your enterprise information. We have an all-new Box admin console that's going to be released later this year and become generally available in Q1. So we're really excited about this, an all-new interface for managing and organizing the data in your enterprise. We want to give you unprecedented insights into how people are working with their information, what they're doing with content, so you have a completely different view of what's going on in your business. If there's one thing growing faster than data in the enterprise, it's lawyers. And so we wanted to deliver. That was approved by our legal team, don't worry. So, actually, I don't know if it was, but they've heard it now. So we wanted to build the best way for you to be able to manage, govern, do document retention policies on our product called Box Governance. Over 1,000 customers have purchased Box Governance so far, and we're continuing to innovate and drive new product adoption and capabilities here. But we also want to make sure that we can support all of the compliance and regulations that you deal with, again, on a global scale, whether it's HIPAA in healthcare, PCI in retail, FINRA for financial services, BCRs for our global organizations in the audience, and one that we're really, really excited about for everybody in life sciences. Anybody in life sciences here? All right. Good. OK. Thank you. OK. We have, so this is just for a few people in the audience, but we have GXP compliance coming soon. OK. Wow. More people are excited about GXP than are in life sciences. That's great news. So this means you're going to be able to do regulated drug trial content collaboration in the cloud. It's funny. If you had told me 15 years ago that I'd be building software that helps drugs get made, I would have thought I'd be in a much cooler industry. So this is an enterprise software, I guess. But we also want to make sure that you can keep your data stored in the location that you need it. So we launched Box Zones. This is for multi-data residency. It's going to be we have 9 zones that will be generally available. And we have new updates coming soon where you'll be able to keep multiple zones in a single enterprise instance. So you can have some data stored in Germany, some in the US, some in Australia, some in Canada, or wherever you want around the world where you're doing business. And of course, we couldn't do this without partners. So we extend our platform and our capabilities, and we get more ability to integrate within your enterprise because of the amazing partners that we work with. And Carrie mentioned a number of them. And one that we're really, really excited about working with, and that we've made a set of recent announcements with, is Microsoft. So a couple of years ago, we actually started integrating with Office 365, and we went even deeper with our Windows support and Windows integrations. And just this past June, we announced a new partnership with Microsoft Azure that we're very, very excited about. And if there's only literally one person more excited about this than me, and it's this guy. So we're very happy about this. And to talk a little bit more about the partnership, I'd like to bring up Scott Guthrie from Microsoft. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Was that an approved image of Steve Ballmer? Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, great. Okay, nothing happened. Don't worry. So, Scott, how's it going? How's your trip been so far?
It's been great. I'm glad to be here.
Very, very good. So we announced a pretty significant partnership in June where we told our customers that we're going to be able to be using Microsoft Azure as an additional set of capabilities for Box Zones. So any region where Microsoft Azure is around the world will eventually be able to keep data stored in those regions. We're also working on some advanced intelligence services that we'll be showing a little bit later, so I don't want to break the news too much on that. But a pretty extensive partnership around Azure and cloud computing. How do you guys think about partnerships in this sort of new cloud, interoperable, best-of-breed era?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we focused a lot on at Microsoft over the last couple of years, is really changing the mindset of how we work with customers, and really how do we put customers at the center of really everything that we do, and work back from there. And that means in terms of making sure that our software works great with the software that customers already have. And so we've done things with Linux around open source, about really deeply embracing the investment. Great.
All right, good, okay.
And it means, in terms from a partnership perspective, how do we partner as companies are looking to move to the cloud and really make sure that we can deliver collectively wonderful solutions that work for you, that integrate with your capabilities, work with other partners, and integrate with ours.
That's awesome. And where are you guys on this journey overall as a cloud? We did a survey yesterday with a bunch of CIOs to sort of see where cloud was overall. But I mean, how do you guys think about the journey ahead for IT leaders and for organizations in terms of adopting cloud computing?
Well, I think where we're at right now is pretty much every organization is looking to embrace the cloud in some way, shape, or form. And some organizations are already migrated huge amounts to the cloud, and the reality is most organizations are still relatively early in the journey. And I think one of the things that we certainly see is, as part of that journey, it's not like one cloud. It really is around how do you actually embrace best-of-breed SaaS solutions, how do you integrate that with your productivity solutions, and how do you build on top of an infrastructure and data and app platform that allow you to extend those solutions. And so really, focusing on this interoperability and really enabling people to have one compliance boundary, one security model, one management stack to kind of look across all of it is kind of key, I think, to accelerating and making people successful.
And that's what we've heard from our customers as we introduce the partnership is when you think about just the amount of kind of global collaboration happening, the amount of data residency and privacy and compliance requirements, it actually really starts to matter that you get close to the infrastructure and understand how those how the different platforms are operating, and it's really great to be working with you on this. What else should we kind of know about the new Microsoft? There's a new book out from Satya around some of the reinvention going on. What should we as IT leaders in the audience kind of be thinking about when we think about the future IT stack and Microsoft's kind of role in that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've seen tremendous success on the last couple of years has been around the Microsoft Cloud broadly. Again, and I think we're sort of unique in the sense of we are focusing on both the infrastructure layer and the data and app layer with Azure. We're focusing around the productivity layer with Office 365, and then we're also building business applications like CRM and ERP with our Dynamics offering. And we're now have 42 regions around the world, so we have more cloud regions and countries than any other cloud provider. We have more compliance certifications than any other cloud provider, and we now have about 90% of the Fortune 500 deployed inside our cloud. And so being able to kind of bring that to the table with an openness and deep integration where we can partner together with you and with others and really enable solutions, which is what ultimately customers care about, that can span across all these environments and be great. That's really kind of what we're focusing deeply on, and doing it in a way that really creates a win-win-win. A win for partners, right, a win for customers, and if customers are successful, then we'll be successful as well.
That's awesome, and obviously we've seen working with you folks over the past couple of years a pretty kind of exciting amount of, I think, refresh view of the partner ecosystem and ways to be able to extend your technologies and capabilities into new applications and services. One thing that we're trying to figure out what our use cases are is around quantum computing from Azure. Do you have any kind of ideas for us of how we should be building that into Box?
Well, I think the thing, you'll see some stuff even later today, obviously. I don't want to steal your thunder, but...
It's not quantum, unfortunately.
It's not quantum,
It's not quantum.
But it's quantum ready. But, in terms of using intelligence and being able to take the data that you already have,
right,
whether it's stored in an unstructured way, whether it's stored inside a more structured database, and really being able to use AI and intelligence against it is really going to be the next forefront for how we deliver massive advances as an industry. And so, I think you'll see more and more, including today, some of that capability and, bringing kind of next generation hardware advances as well as software advances as a cloud platform is going to be key to enabling that. And right, but it's ultimately going to be through the apps that really it's going to light up. And that's right, partly why, we're so interested in ways that we can partner deeply with you and others, right, to help enable that.
Awesome. Well, I think you've set enough suspense for what we're going to be showing a little bit later, but thank you very much, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks.
So, Box will be working with Azure among some of our other technology partners available in just a month from now, and that will be a pretty exciting update. But overall, I think you get a sense of the kind of innovation that we're trying to drive for helping companies be able to manage, secure, govern, organize, and work with all of their information in a very secure way in the cloud. But in many ways, we're just getting started. So that was some of the ways that we're helping enterprises, again, be able to move their information into the cloud and be able to do it no matter what industry you're in, whether it's financial services or healthcare or life sciences, or no matter where you are in the world or where you're operating out of. But there's still so much more that we need to do to be able to accomplish our mission of powering how the world works together. When we think about how work happens today and compared to what the digital world is going to look like, again, how real-time things become, how much more intelligent capabilities we're going to want in our business, we think there's still so much more that we need to go do. There's so many more new innovations that we still need to drive and that are ahead of us. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about how we're going to introduce new ways to work smarter on Box. And tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how you're going to be able to build smarter applications on the Box platform. But to dive right in to some of our new updates, we're going to be making 3 big announcements. The first is making collaboration far more powerful on Box. So new capabilities to let you share, collaborate, and work with your information in the cloud. The next is being able to simplify business workflows. This is going to be an enhancement and update to Box Relay. And then finally, we would not be able to be an enterprise software conference today without talking about intelligence. So we have some really exciting updates around how we're going to bring intelligence to your content in the cloud. So to kick things off, I'd like to bring up Ciara from our product team to go into how we're going to be able to introduce new ways of working smarter in the cloud. Ciara?
Work, 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 work. You see me happy work, 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 work. You see me do me dirt, 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 dirt. There's something about that work, 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 work. When you walk a line, line, line.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here today. As Aaron mentioned, we're working really hard to make collaboration more powerful in Box. Over the last year, we've been working on a lot of innovations to make the experience smarter and faster. This started with the new Files experience, where we redesigned not only our user interface, but also our entire technology stack to optimize for speed and simplicity. On mobile, we launched a seamless integration with Apple Files app, so that you have access to all of your Box content on any iOS device. And finally, we launched the public beta release of Box Drive. Box Drive is the only unlimited cloud drive built for the enterprise, giving you instant access to all of your Box content directly from your desktop by streaming it to your desktop instead of taking up hard drive space. Box Drive gets everyone in the cloud because it's easy for teams to learn and use. Plus, it saves companies millions by letting them replace network file shares. Our goal has always been to provide experiences that help you work faster and smarter. And today, we're really excited to launch a couple of really great innovations that help you work better with your files, collaborate in real time with Box Notes, and work better with all of your apps and integrations. Let's start with the new Files experience. So we know how important Box is to getting work done, and that's why we've been working really hard to make the experience more real-time, engaging, and collaborative. I'm excited to tell you about 4 new enhancements to the Box Files experience that'll help you get there. First, we've enhanced our commenting experience to make it easier than ever to work with your team. Now, you can gather feedback, annotate specific pages, tie comments to versions, and improve your conversations with threaded commenting. You can also mark comments as resolved, so it's easy to see what's been done and what still needs work. We've made our preview experience more powerful than ever with visual versioning. Now you can see any past version of the file without having to download it first. No more searching through different versions, trying to remember the date of that one edit. And you can add descriptions to important versions, so they're easy to find. Now, when you're working with dozens of people, it can be really hard to keep track of who did what and when. That's why we're super excited to announce this concept of presence. Presence let you know who's been in the file and who's there right now at a glance. So you can see who came in for a quick review or made really dramatic changes. And finally, it's easier than ever to find the content that you work with most with shortcuts. Now you can drag and drop any file or folder into the left sidebar in order to access everything that you need in one click. So I hope you're excited about these changes and updates to the file experience. I want to remind you, though, that Box isn't just about finding and viewing your files. Box is also the best place to collaborate on ideas. With Box Notes, our secure note-taking app built for teams, you can collaborate in real time, securely, with anyone, including internal and external people. This includes the brainstorms that you have with your coworkers, the meeting notes you share with your partners, and proposals you share with customers. And with 41% of the Fortune 500 using Box Notes, it's clear that some of the largest and most important companies in the world are running their business on Box. What makes Box Notes really powerful is that it's built directly into Box, taking advantage of a lot of the deep enterprise-grade innovations we've already pioneered in the cloud, like HIPAA, FINRA, and FedRAMP compliance, retention policies with Box governance, and encryption in transit and at rest, just to name a few. Plus, Box is where your content already lives. It's where your entire network of collaborators is already getting their work done. Box Notes has always been about making it fast and easy for teams to work together. I'm going to share with you a couple of the innovations that we've been working on that will launch soon. First, it's super easy to see all of the changes that have happened to your notes with Inbox. Now, anything that's happened since you've last been in, you can see instantly. With visual indicators, clear visual indicators, and the latest updated notes aligned to the top, you can see what needs your attention first. Related to that, you can also see specifically what's changed within the note with differences. Now, anytime anyone's made a change since you've last been there, that update is highlighted in line, and you can also toggle these highlights off and on. Similar to what you saw in files, we also have presence within notes, so you can see at a glance who's been in the note and what's happened. And finally, when you need more structure than a freewheeling brainstorm, like a meeting agenda or a product specification, we have pre-built templates. You can also create your own custom templates to optimize work for the way you need to get it done. So with the updates to files and notes, we've optimized for making work faster and easier. But that's not it. We have over 1,000 pre-built partner integrations that let you share, manage, edit, and update any kind of data you want. That means you can create a presentation in Office 365, sign a document with Adobe Sign, or share customer proposals in Salesforce, all while taking advantage of the security and compliance you're used to within Box. Another important part about collaborating on content, though, is the conversation that happens around that content, and making sure it's easy to see it cohesively in one place. That's why we've been really focused on a series of partner apps with messaging apps that we've launched recently. So that includes Workplace by Facebook, Slack, and Microsoft Teams. And we also have a few upcoming integrations with Cisco Spark, Google Hangouts Chat, and IBM Watson Workspace. So we talked a lot about how we're improving a lot of the ad hoc work, but we also know that there's a lot of work that's more structured in nature. That's why we've been really, really focused on automating a lot of these repeatable processes with Relay. To talk about the future of workflow, I'd like to bring up Jenica from the product team.
Good to see you all again this year. So as you just saw, Box is a great place to collaborate on your ad hoc work. Yet, about half of our day is spent on repeatable tasks that, are really frustrating, actually, to a lot of us. And in fact, so I'm going to spend the next couple minutes talking to you about a product that I love. And I think this is the best product that Box has ever done. And yeah, I know I'm biased, but thank you. But I also say that because I used to work in marketing and finance operations, and I know how hard it is when you have this desire to automate your process and you just can't. And most of our work is repeatable, whether it's when I was in finance approving invoices, or creating, reviewing, and approving marketing collateral, or redlining, signing, and filing contracts in product. The exact details change, sure, but the content, the process, and the people largely stays the same. So why is that? Why is it so hard for us to automate these processes? Well, while most workflow tools say that they're easy and anyone can use them, most workflow tools are overly complicated, not to mention expensive. So we end up changing our moves and end up relying on ad hoc software like spreadsheets, email, task software that doesn't really help us with any of the automation. So that's why I love this product, because with Box Relay, we are changing that. Let's take a look at how Relay streamlines a process we have all had the benefit of going through at least once in our lives.
For every amazing moment in your company, there are a million things that need to get done. Box Relay is designed to make each of those tasks easier to keep your team moving forward. Relay automatically routes work to the right people in every part of your organization, so teams like HR can wrap up a candidate's paperwork, or you can easily get sign-off from finance. When you drive projects with Relay, every part of your team works better, both inside and outside your company. Every step of the process is as easy as clicking a button. With Relay, anyone can build and manage a secure workflow, and everyone stays on track. And that gives you more time to focus on what really matters.
Box Relay, thank you. I'm so pumped about it. Box Relay is workflow made simple. Co-developed with IBM, we built Relay with the appreciation that so many of us, no matter what role, manually organize the team to do all of this work that is repeatable. Leveraging IBM's deep expertise in workflow and Box's focus on simple and intuitive user design, Box Relay orchestrates the entire process from start to finish, all within Box. That means that your teammates are going to get work done faster. Box Relay is different from any workflow tool in the market today in 3 key ways. First, we've created an environment where anyone can create their own custom workflow, simply, quickly, and intuitively. So no need to bug your friends in IT. Your workflow can be simple with 1 to 2 steps, or more sophisticated with looping and branching. You can choose a pre-built template from your company's repository, or choose to customize your own with our intuitive design. Second, we've scaled your workflows to the extended enterprise. How many of you have been concerned about your coworkers sharing confidential documents over email attachments? All right, I see a couple of you. With most workflow tools, they leverage email to collaborate with those that are external to your business. So automating process that involves your customers, your vendors, and your partners, which is so much of what we do today, is largely a security risk. With Relay, you can add an external user as easy as adding that external user's email address. Meanwhile, all of your content is kept securely in Box, and we make sure that external user gets access only to the content that they need to get their work done. And lastly, Box Relay is built on Box. So there's no switching back and forth between different tools. Box Relay is built on the platform you already use to manage your content, with all the same functionality and design that you know and trust. So I can say it again, I love this product. Don't waste time orchestrating the work. Instead, do the work. I'm proud to say that we now have over 250 customers in our beta. They've been testing Relay from processes all across their business, from simple to sophisticated. So first, I just want to take a second to thank them for their time and their partnership. You've been essential to us in getting this product better. So just to talk about some of the use cases that we've ended up seeing, our friends at Schneider Electric are testing Relay for simple IT requests and approvals. And at Lord & Taylor, they're testing Relay to manage their digital asset publishing process so that creative content gets published on time. And even more sophisticated is TSB Bank, using Relay to verify their new bank account applications. It has been so fun working with those of you on this product, and I'm proud to say that Relay is slated to GA in 1 month, next month, November 2017. So excited to say that. And, all right, come on. And it doesn't stop here. In fact, it's just the beginning. This next year in Relay, we're going to be focusing on adding more sophistication into your workflows while maintaining our focus on self-service and simplicity. So here are some of the features that we're going to be releasing, but these aren't even my favorite ones. So you can find me later, and I'll tell you about them. So this next year, we're going to be allowing users to launch workflows automatically, meaning that when a file, like a resume, is uploaded to a folder or a marketing asset is classified as sales collateral and you want everyone in sales to see it, a Relay workflow will be able to be launched automatically. Also, we will be releasing Relay APIs, meaning that you can integrate Relay workflows into your existing applications and automated processes. We're also adding the ability to e-sign documents with our existing e-signature partners, directly integrated into your process. So if you need an NDA signed or an HR contract that's legally binding, we'll be able to do that from directly within Relay. And we're making it much easier to manage multiple workflows at once. With an updated active workflow dashboard, your managers will be able to streamline their ability to work with the team and make sure nothing goes off track. So, to show you how these collaboration and workflow features come together, I'd like to invite Duncan out to help me with a demo.
Backstreet's back, all right. Hey, now, oh my God, we're back again.
God, I love that song. Hi, everyone. I'm Duncan, and I'm really excited to show you how all those new product updates you just heard about come together in a demo. So I'll start off here in Box Notes. It looks like I'm looking at a Box Zone strategy document. Oh, I have a new update. The new Notes inbox lets me know right away when there's been a change to any note that I'm in. Let's take a look. So it looks like someone's updated this brainstorm note for new Box Zones locations. I wonder if any of those were approved to move forward. I'm going to check it out now. Right away, you'll probably notice the new Notes Differences feature, which highlights any text that's been added or changed since I last saw this note. I can even toggle those highlights off and on if I need to. I can also see who's been making those edits with the new Presence feature. So if I click on these faces up here, I can see who's been viewing or editing the note recently, or even if anyone's active in the note right now. And in fact, it looks like a couple of my colleagues are working in here as we speak. Now I'm going to go check to see if any of those new Box Zones locations were approved. Aaron's been a bit obsessed with Elon Musk and SpaceX lately. I wonder if that's going to affect his thinking here. Oh, whoa. Looks like Aaron wants us to go forward with a new Box Zone on Mars. You know, with Aaron, nothing surprises me anymore. In fact, I had an idea this might be coming, and I actually already got a head start on the execution plan. I'm going to switch over to the Box Files app to take a look at that now. OK, so there's that file I was talking about. I'm going to be coming back to this a lot over the next couple weeks, so I'm going to go ahead and save it to the new favorites sidebar. Just need to drag the file over here, and then it's saved as a quick access shortcut. Pretty cool. Let me open up that file now. So first, let me show you the enhanced commenting experience that Ciara spoke about. So being able to reply to comments and thread them, and even mark them as resolved, just makes it a lot easier to keep track of all your communication around a file in one centralized place. Another great feature is the new visual versioning sidebar. So it makes it really easy to see how a file has progressed over time, and I can even preview an earlier version with just one click. Before, I would have needed to download the file version in order to do that. Oh, looks like we had the wrong planet in there before. A Box Zone on Saturn. Who'd believe that, right? Anyway, it looks like it's been corrected in the latest version, so I'll switch back to that now. So I'm going to need to add a risk slide before I finish up this presentation, and I think I'm going to get some help from my colleague, Brad. Brad is a total expert on space. He's seen Star Wars like 12 times. I'm going to share the file with him now. So this new sharing experience puts everything you need to manage collaboration in Box all in one place. So I'll just invite Brad to this file so he can edit it. On Brad, and then type a quick message. And just like that, he's been added. And you might have noticed that I actually was able to invite Brad to the individual file. I didn't need to add him to the parent folder this file lived in order to let him edit the file. So finally, I want Brad to get that slide in later today, so I'm going to go ahead and assign him a task. So I'll just switch over to the new task sidebar, and I'll create new. And let me write up that task now. Just oops. Summarizing the risks for a Box Zone on Mars. Add Brad again. And set the due date for today. And just like that, I've created a task and assigned it to Brad. And oh, wow. Looks like Brad is already reviewing the file. Millennials. Watch, I bet now he's going to ask for a promotion. Thanks. Now I'm going to pass it over to Brad and bring him on stage to continue the demo.
Good job.
So I saw Duncan's task, and like magic, I already went ahead and uploaded a new version of the presentation with that risk slide included. And you know what? That got me thinking. I did that so quickly. Maybe I do deserve a promotion. Regardless, I'll go ahead and mark that task as complete. This presentation's looking great, but I did add a new slide, and Duncan should probably have a review before we call this good to go. Lucky for me, I can use the new annotations feature in Box to call his attention to that slide in particular. I don't even have to download the file or switch to another app. It all happens right here on Box. I simply enter annotation mode, and I can either highlight text or just click to create a point annotation with a comment, like this. Hey, @mention Duncan. Here are the risks. I'm pretty concerned. It's an addressable market. I don't know. What do you think? Alrighty, looks good to me. I'll go ahead and click Post. You notice my comment now shows up in the new sidebar and is linked to this specific location in this specific version. And nice. I can see Duncan already replied instantly with real-time threading. Yeah, this seems pretty risky. OK, yeah, he's thinking along the same lines. This is definitely has potential to go a little sideways. He's recommending I look into some risk insurance. And I agree, let's play it safe. I'm going to follow up on that ask, so I'll mark this thread as resolved to let everybody know this feedback's accounted for. OK, so let me follow up on that ask to look into some risk insurance. I wonder if that's something Jenica can help with.
That's where I come in. So I'm now going to take the role of an insurance broker working with Brad and Box to get their insurance for Mars Zone. When I enter into Relay, I see everything in my new active workflow dashboard, where I can see all of the different applications that I'm in charge of, what step they're on, and everything basically that my team is working on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter by the business liability insurance application. There we go. So now this updates with just those processes. Like I said, I can see what step it's on, when each thing is due, or if there are any problems, I can jump in with my team.
And Jenica is our go-to for all things insurance and risk. So after wrapping up the business case, I contacted her, and turns out she does know some underwriters who can help us out.
That's right, Brad, I do. My company set up a business liability insurance process. So beyond getting the entire process automated, I also will be able to take advantage of Relay's ability to assign tasks to people outside of my company. So as soon as I enter in the details here, then I'm going to add Brad's email address in the first step. So Brad, you'll have to add the application, and then we'll send it to some underwriters for some quotes.
Sounds good. But Jenica, what about due dates? We can't miss the launch window for this project.
Yeah, no problem, Brad. So my company's default value is 5 days turnaround. So that's a default in the template. But Relay also gives me the flexibility to add a due date. So I'm going to add in the end of the month and kick off this workflow. And Brad, you should be getting a task any minute now.
Yep, I see that now. And nice. You attached all the relevant documentation as well. Cool. I'll get started on filling it out.
Great. Thanks, Brad. So Relay allows me to select a master application that then Relay will copy for each of the different workflows we work on. So all of my different applicants will be able to fill out the same exact details, and I can get that in one consolidated place.
And like magic, Jenica, I think I'm finished. I'll go ahead and click Submit now to finish this step.
Thanks, Brad.
And let me check and see what comes next in this process. I can see that Jenica is working on her part, and oh, she's done. Wow, she's speedy. She's already getting quotes from the underwriters for us.
Yeah, Brad, what you're looking at is the workflow activity view, where you can see all of the details of everything that's happened in real time. Here in this step, the underwriters are giving us some quotes.
Jenica, it looks like some of the underwriters have some concerns.
Ooh. Oh, Neil, taking the cloud so literally. Don't worry, Brad. I'll handle that right now. And I think we can use some of these quotes where I'll put together your final contract and application. So tell me, who will be filling out the signature from your company?
I think for this one, it's probably going to be Aaron. He's pretty obsessed with this project. I'm sure he'll complete it ASAP.
Great. So I'll kick off that signature process. Just enter in Aaron's email address right here, and he should be getting the task to sign this document. Oh, look, he's done. Good thing he's so excited about this. So now that the workflow is finished, I can see that Relay has moved all of these applications to the predetermined folder in Box, the Process Policies folder, which I can access from Box Drive on my desktop or on mobile. And when I click on the document, I can see all of the metadata that's been automatically applied to this document with the Relay workflow. So the next time Box comes to us with some crazy idea, I'll be able to pull up their application from last time. So now I'm back in my old persona, but you just saw how all of the collaboration updates and the Relay updates come together in Box. So now I'd like to bring Aaron back to the stage to talk to us about the future of work. Thank you.
Backstreet's back, all right. Oh my God, we're back again.
Okay. Thank you, Jenica and Brad. Really exciting updates to workflow and collaboration on Box. One important update. When I went backstage after I was on stage, I got a text from my mom, and apparently Carrie has caused some problems in my family. My mom sent me, "You doing a shout out to me like Carrie did?" ? So, Mom, hi. This is your shout out. So thank you. She's real-time texting me during the keynote, so that's always good. We started Box. I'll probably get a text in a second while I'm up here. So we started Box in 2005 because we saw a confluence of trends that we thought were going to change how people would work forever. We thought that the future was going to be very, very different in terms of how people would want to access, manage, and work with their information. There were three big technology trends at the time that we were sort of at the forefront of. So you saw a rise in mobile devices that people were going to be working from. We felt like the power of cloud computing was going to make it possible to bring down the cost of storage and compute so you could run services in the cloud very easily and over the internet. And then we felt that there was more and more people, as they get connected to the internet, we'd want to collaborate globally and be connected all around the world. And this is what the internet looks like. So this is accurate representation. So we said, okay, with dropping storage prices and compute prices, we're going to want our information in a central place. The internet is growing rapidly, so we want to be connected to one another, and people will be working from more and more devices than ever before. And these technology trends not only changed enterprise software, and not only changed our IT environments, but it also revolutionized so many different industries. This is why companies have been able to go after healthcare and transportation and retail and so many different markets because of and with digital technologies. But there's obviously another major technology trend that's emerging that's going to be incredibly important, and we think even maybe more impactful than those trends combined. And we're seeing it in our personal lives in the form of products like Echo and Alexa or Siri or Cortana. So we're interacting with personal assistants more and more, and these help solve everyday problems for us in a range of use cases that are incredibly exciting. And of course, we're seeing things like self-driving cars begin to emerge, which have the ability to eradicate car accidents and so many other important issues that this type of technology can solve. But this is just the start of things like machine learning and artificial intelligence. We believe that the impact will be greatest when these types of technologies enter the enterprise. And so far, most of the innovation has been isolated to the consumer space. But we think that AI and machine learning will fundamentally change how we manage, how we secure, how we collaborate, and work with all of our information. And we think this is going to change how we think about a lot of different industries going forward. So to come talk about what we're doing in this space and what we're doing with machine learning, I'd like to bring up Jeetu Patel, Box's Chief Product Officer. Thank you.
So Aaron talked about the fact that we've actually started this business 12 years ago. What he didn't say was that for the past 7.5 years, we've been working on this very strategic project. His co-founders have actually been working with him, and we've been a little slow in shipping this project. In fact, like press and analysts are a little kind of disappointed that we haven't shipped it so far. But we're finally getting to the point now we're going to ship this project. And so it's not just 3 announcements we're making. There's a 4th announcement.
Oh, wow.
And what I thought I'd do is kind of share that with you. But this is, it's a pretty big announcement. So
didn't we cancel this idea?
So
Okay.
the way that we're going to go with this is I'm going to have some people on the side who are going to take a reaction because the team has been a pretty large team and they've been working really hard. So it would mean a lot if you showed your appreciation for this launch that we're going to have. And it's going to be in December in Q4. So the general availability is in Q4. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the announcement is this is the last time you're going to see Aaron on stage as a single man because he's getting married. And so we have a big round of applause.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you rubbed in the delays to the ship date. That's gonna go really well for me later. So thank you. But we were working a long time on the product, so we're happy about it. Okay, thank you, G2.
Thank you.
I owe you one. See you.
That was not rehearsed. So if you saw Aaron a little red and blushing, it's because he didn't know that was coming. But back to cloud content management. So let's talk a little bit about intelligence. So far, we've seen Jenica and Ciara and the team talk a lot about collaboration and workflow, and specifically, how that's changing the future of work and how it's going to go. But one of the key challenges that you see in this space is that we're all facing a data explosion within the enterprise. In fact, there's going to be more data created in 2017 than the past 5,000 years of humanity combined. And we are also starting to see that the same level of kind of growth is starting to happen within Box, where you're starting to see that our customers' data in Box is actually doubling every year. Now, traditionally, the more information you get, the harder it is to work with the information that makes sense. And you're starting to see a fair amount of kind of challenges that always get expressed by users. So if you think about someone in the marketing team, they might say, I've got tens of thousands of images, and how do I go out and find a picture of a new product on my website, I find exactly what I'm looking for? Or if I'm looking at customer service, how do I go out and look at all the conversations that are going on to really assess what the kind of quality of services that I'm delivering? Or even a legal team where you've got expensive lawyers and paralegals that might manually be entering metadata to go out and make sure that there's some level of intelligence in the system. So this has been a problem all along. And machine learning, we think, is the only way that you can go out and scale, have this problem solved at scale. Now, the good news is, over the course of the past couple of years, you've seen a tremendous amount of innovation that's happened with IBM, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, around this area of machine learning. There's billions of dollars that have been spent on going out and helping with kind of solving some really, really meaningful problems. So if you think about how voice-to-text transcription has occurred, and how you can go out and identify objects and images, or how you do facial recognition. There's huge amounts of kind of advancements that have been made in classification of images and going out and understanding the meaning of content, so on and so forth. And in fact, what you're starting to see, and in some of these domains, you're starting to approach approach and exceed the levels of human accuracy as you move forward. So as you start seeing this, the challenge has always been with this, that it's really hard to go out and get these innovations applied to enterprise content within your systems. So just think about what you need to do. You have to identify the ML provider. You might have to go out and do a security review. You have to figure out what the integrations might be with the system. So there's a fair amount of innovation going on in machine learning. But what's not happening, though, is the tight integration with your enterprise content. So they almost seem like two separate worlds. Until today. What we're going to do is have one of the most significant announcements we'll have made in the history of Box that talks about how we can bring intelligence to your content. And so I'm delighted to announce to you a new product that we're going to be launching called Box Skills. And to tell us a little bit more about that, I'd like to have Ben from the product team come up and give you a little bit more of the details in Box. Ben?
G2. So as G2 discussed, machine learning technologies have been going through a rapid set of innovations. And a lot of the technologies that our partners are coming out with, things like image recognition, audio analysis, video analysis, these are changing the way in which we can interact with our content. But we have a challenge, which is it's very hard to take all of your content and move it to these services. So at Box, our goal is to help you, or is to take the intelligence and bring it to your content. And the way we're going to do this is through Box Skills. You can think of Box Skills as a framework to intelligently enhance your content. And another way to think about it is a layer of abstraction between your files in Box and between the machine learning technologies in the cloud. And to explain more about how Box Skills works, I'm going to use, as an example, our first Box skill, image intelligence. So images in Box are our second most common file type, and they are growing rapidly as users are using images more in their day-to-day work. And one of the challenges is that the more images that you have, the harder it is for you to find the images that you need. And so luckily, image recognition technology is getting very good lately, and we can take the image recognition technology and incorporate it into a Box skill to add metadata to your images to make them much easier to find. And that's what we've done. We now, at Box, have the skill to recognize images. And in addition to images, we have two more Box skills to announce that will take audio and video files and add intelligence to them. We chose audio and video files because, similar to images, they are very commonly used in Box, and they are unstructured and usually very hard to search for. And we believe that these three Box skills can fundamentally change the way you interact with your content. And so I'm very happy to announce our first three Box skills: image intelligence, audio intelligence, and video intelligence. And to tell us more about what we mean when we say fundamentally change how you work with these files, I'd like to introduce Katie Lee to show us a demo of Box Skills.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm really excited to show you today the power of Box Skills. So, as G2 and Ben mentioned, it can get really overwhelming dealing with the growing amount of content that you work with on a day-to-day basis. But now, with the power of machine learning, we can make it easier for you to manage, interact with, and experience your content better than ever before. So, now let's see this in action. Something that we hear a lot from customers and marketing departments is that they spend a lot of time on pages like these, just looking at a lot of images, scrolling page after page, just trying to find that one image that they're looking for. But now, when you upload a file into Box, you get even more information than ever before. So, when I click into this file, I can see that we've automatically tagged this image with key objects and image properties. We can see here, actually, that we have a tennis player holding a tennis racket. And we have those associated keywords on the left. We also see that the image is predominantly green, which we've tagged, and we've even identified the logo as New Balance. We also extract all of the text from the image using OCR. So you can see all of this text from the quotation in the middle, as well as the small text on the bottom. So now you don't have to spend all of your time going through some manual process, typing in all of this information, and just tagging all of your images to be able to search. Instead, you get this automatically when you upload a file into Box using our web app, mobile, Box Drive, our APIs, or our integrations. So now if I actually wanted to search, for example, if I was looking for all images of our tennis campaigns, I can click here and find all of those relevant images. And Think not just your marketing images, but also those photos of whiteboards from brainstorming sessions, those floor plans from construction sites, retail images, product parts, and more. But that's not all. As Ben mentioned, we're seeing a lot of growing video content in Box as well. We're hearing from you about all of your customer webinars, your internal training videos, company all-hands, and more. And so actually, while we were preparing for this announcement here, the PR team was asking me if we could find all the times that Aaron had talked about artificial intelligence in the press so that we can make sure our messaging is consistent. So now, if I go into Box and I search artificial intelligence, I actually found this one video of Aaron talking with Jim Cramer on Mad Money about artificial intelligence. So we still have the great preview experience straight from Box on the right-hand side. But now on the left, we actually have these additional cards to help you get to that information that you're looking for within your content. So let's give it a listen.
Have you noticed all the good things happening lately at Box?
We should really listen to this guy. So we've done facial recognition across all of the slides within this video in order to detect all the faces of people who appear. We see here's Jim Cramer and all of the frames in which he appears in this video, as well as Aaron. So since I'm looking for times that Aaron is talking about artificial intelligence, I can actually go to the first time that he shows up in the video and click on that in order to jump to that segment of the video.
Look, to me, this is very exciting. Because to me, this is the intuitive device that I've always.
And we also see a little bit here where the interview turns a bit into a monologue. Probably Aaron going off about Trump again. So we also see here that we've intelligently gotten some topics based on the frequency that they're mentioned inside this video. So if I wanted to learn more about Aaron's tweets, or I actually care a bit more about artificial intelligence, so if I go over to artificial intelligence and click on this, I can see that we actually mention it 4 times across this whole video. And similarly, if I wanted to jump straight to that segment, I can click there, and it'll take me to that scene.
Companies and companies of all sizes. So what we can now do with artificial intelligence is begin to automatically classify this content. So you could upload a picture of a shirt, and it would automatically detect what kind of shirt it is, whether it's a men's shirt or women's.
Man, Aaron's stealing my thunder right now. I got to step it up. So if I wanted to follow along, we've also extracted the transcript for this whole conversation on the bottom. If I just wanted to actually listen in, or if I want to jump to a segment.
That they need to be able to manage and secure and collaborate on, we want to help provide more and more value around that data. So we're 100% focused on the enterprise market. We think we can.
And now let's say that I'm actually on the go and I forgot my headphones. That doesn't mean that I have to stop my work. Now we've actually put the transcripts automatically into closed captioning so that you can actually follow the video along, no matter where you are.
Bring this technology to enterprises for the very first time at scale and save them millions and millions of dollars, as well as speed up their business processes. So that's squarely our focus as a company.
Excellent.
So now no more having to watch hours and hours of video just to get to that one segment that you care about. Instead, you get all of this discoverability, all of this interactability, just by working in Box. Now, back to you, Ben.
So our image intelligence skill is now available in beta, and our audio and video intelligence skills will be available next year. But since we're talking about partners and machine learning, we might make a few key points about how Box Skills works. The first is that Box admins will explicitly opt in to enable a skill, and they'll be allowed to enable it for all of their files or just for subsets of their content. Also, we'll be taking the same security standards that we apply across Box, and we'll be applying these to Box Skills as well. And the third point here is that we're trying very hard to make this the most frictionless experience for our Box admins. So we'll take care of dealing with the partnerships with these vendors, and we'll take care of doing the integration work. And all you'll need to do is enable the Box skill in your Box. But we're not done with just these 3 skills. We'll be making more skills as new technologies come out. And but one key point is that we know that much of the value of machine learning will be applying it to your custom business process. And we know that a lot of your employees spend a lot of time with their content in Box doing manual things. And if we could automate them, we'd make them more efficient. And so in order to help integrate skills with your custom processes, we allow you to make your own custom skills based on the skills framework. And to tell us more about this, I'd like to introduce Faizan to come up and show us some examples of custom skills.
Hi, everyone. I'm Faizan, and I'm here to tell you about the power of custom skills and how you can use them to accelerate your specific business processes. So I'm going to start with a simple example, which is around legal teams and contracts. So every company has a legal department, and they have lots of contracts, and they end up storing them in Box. So if you look at this kind of sort of free-flowing, unstructured document, it's really hard to start automated processes from these kinds of unstructured documents. Now, let's look at a skill that we developed with the help of an emerging ML startup called Effisoft. So this skill actually analyzed this document and automatically classified it as a non-disclosure agreement. Then it picked up the effective date from within the document and added that to the metadata automatically. It's also picked up the name of the company and the address of the company and added that to the metadata. Then the skill checked at the bottom of the document and found a wet signature. And hence, it added this property: is the document signed? Yes, that's true. And it also added the name of the person who actually signed the document. So you get all of this automatically, and now with this information in metadata, you can kick off an automatic process or a workflow, just like Jenica was describing with Box Relay. Another common document type, just like contracts, is invoices. Invoices are flowing between your employees and your external vendors. And with invoices, we also care for a similar basic set of information from an invoice. The vendor name. This skill can extract the vendor name. It can actually find out the invoice number and extract that. It can figure out the invoice date and extract that automatically. So again, your team can manage and be on top of processing invoices because machine learning extracts this information from the document and adds that to metadata. Now let's get to my favorite custom skill, which is call center analysis skill. So but imagine a call center, imagine an outbound sales operation. It's really hard for sales leaders or trainers to analyze trends or next steps from hours and hours of recorded audio. So we're going to look at the audio recording from the support center of a cable provider. So this is a custom skill that uses multiple machine learning capabilities. So we took the audio call, and we ran that through IBM speech-to-text to get the transcription, a searchable transcript. Then we ran that transcript through IBM sentiment analysis, which actually shows you the different sentiments expressed during the audio call. Then we went a step further and customized the actual topics or product names that were relevant to this cable provider. So the cable provider said that I care about when DSL is mentioned, when modem is mentioned, when slow or cancel is mentioned. And the skill is looking for those specific topics or product names. So as we can see, the call sort of starts off from some frustration. So let's see what that is about.
Connection is so damn slow, I can't even load my email without waiting for 5 minutes. How am I supposed to get any work done? I'm paying you people a lot of money, and your service sucks. I want to cancel my monthly plan right now.
Well, that guy was hard to read. And again, to be clear, this is not a Box support call. This is a cable company's call center. So you can actually see that frustration aligns with whenever slow or cancel was discussed. And as you look at towards the end of the call, somehow miraculously, there is joy expressed. And you can see that that kind of overlays with a couple of mentions of free upgrade. So let's check that out.
Free upgrade, that does make me happy. Thanks so much.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I'll send you an email confirmation right away of your free upgrade.
Whoa, I already got it.
So this is the power of custom box skills. You can actually apply any machine learning technology or a combination of machine learning technologies and get the business logic that is relevant for your business. We're really proud to announce Box Skills Kit, which will be available the first half of 2018, and which will enable you, like any of our platform capabilities, to go out there and build very easily and in a very simple way these machine learning solutions. And now I'm happy to bring back Aaron on stage with one of our really key big partners, David Kenny from IBM. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Faizan. I'd like to introduce you to David Kenny, who runs Cloud and Intelligence and Watson at IBM. David, come on up. Thank you. So we just saw a brand new integration with IBM Watson, and it was taking audio analysis and kind of providing the sentiment back to the end customer. What is the kind of state of AI today, and especially within the kind of Watson environment, and then more broadly as well?
Yeah, well, listen, we're still at very early days, but I think we're increasingly finding the ability to automate tasks and make them more effective. You've got different AI partners here. The Watson difference is that it learns better on small data. So you saw G2's chart about human accuracy. If you actually looked at the Watson chart versus the other two, we learn at the early stages much faster. That's enabling us to bring much more professional use to AI. Most of the rest has been consumer, in your home, on your phone. But to read data that's private, read data that's not on the public internet, that's where I think we've got advances.
And that's because the data sets are fundamentally smaller and they're unique and proprietary to an individual customer or an individual.
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
The solution's been different ways to actually train the models.
And where are you guys seeing the most kind of impact of that? I mean, we've obviously seen some of the potential use cases in healthcare, life sciences, financial services, government. What kind of are you guys most excited about?
Well, if you take all the repeatable tasks that you talked about in Relay, we see the best process in actually automating those. Applicant tracking, legal compliance, know your customer in banking, anti-money laundering, the basics of reading a radiology, the basics of reading medical journals.
Right.
That's where we're making progress.
And how should we think about, as sort of CIOs and IT leaders in the audience, how should we think about kind of privacy and the data control? Because there is a lot of concern about, okay, is there going to be kind of global training of these models on my entire data set? How do we balance both being able to build the best algorithms, and the best sort of data model, with the fact that people are going to want to have control and privacy around their information?
Well, first of all, there's basic privacy that I think every human's entitled to, and we have to respect that. And I think everybody's doing that. I think the second part is proprietary advantage. So the models that are more consumer have one master algorithm that is kind of built off semantic search. If there are things in your company that are proprietary, your knowledge of your assets, your knowledge of natural resources, your unique insights into making risk management, there you actually want to train a model that's your own model.
Right.
And that's kind of how we set up Watson, which was Watson's entirely around professional use, not consumer. So it's how do you train your own model and keep that to yourself.
And one of the things that we're working on with IBM is, and Faizan showed this idea of custom skills. And one of the ways of using custom skills is to actually have your own kind of trained data set. So if you were a company that didn't have, that had a proprietary data set that wasn't kind of trained against, kind of data on the internet, then we'd be able to kind of hook these systems up and you could actually train against your own data.
Absolutely.
So what, and how do you, first of all, have you seen the new Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Okay. How afraid should we be of the sort of, just in general, like I guess in general, A, and then B, of AI and like this dystopian future? Or are you leaning more dystopian, or sort of this is going to be very exciting and we're all going to be fine?
Listen, there's power here, so I think you have to be careful, right? I don't want to tell you there's not.
Okay.
But I'm more utopian.
You're more utopian.
I'm actually working right now on the Watson wedding planner just for you. So.
Oh, thank you. Oh. That's, okay. Are you saying that I'm behind on the planning?
I'm saying that you probably are, but why would you? Knowing you, but why would you spend time on it?
Fair point.
Robots can figure out who's there, but anyway, we should leave that alone. If I come back to other utopian views, with all technology, there's much more positive things that are automating rote tasks, which free up human capacity to do more. These machines are getting smarter. They are going to take on more. So I think it is important that we watch them carefully. I think it's important that we don't connect them to autonomous weapons. I think it's important.
Generally a good idea.
Well, people have these ideas.
Right.
So you have to be careful. It's a pretty powerful technology. But I think we and our colleagues in the field are being quite responsible to build it.
And there is a lot of research. I don't know if you can kind of share what you've been doing this week in this area, but like there does seem to be a lot of collaboration around the ethics and around kind of the future of where AI is going and how we should be thinking about this as an industry. How do you guys kind of see that?
Yeah, well, I'm very committed to ethics, and that we do in partnership with Microsoft and Google and Amazon and Facebook and Apple and several others, because it is important that we remember this is technology that serves humans, and lots of interesting people are doing it. So last night we had a dinner around bias and diversity, that there shouldn't be one model, there should be many models. That's part of what I want to enable, because otherwise you do end up with just like one search algorithm. If everything went through one algorithm, I think we'd miss a lot of insights. New people are coming into this. My favorite is there's a Department of AI at the Vatican.
Wow.
Because the Vatican believed their mission is to help people know right from wrong. Pretty soon machines can do that.
Right.
So they first of all, they need to be trained on right and wrong in the right way, but secondly, it kind of changes the mission of religion. So I've got that. I got a Buddhist monk. We got a lot of people looking at how AI hits human values, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so the Vatican is now dealing with digital disruption as well. So this is
Yeah.
good to know. And kind of zooming back, I mean, we have a pretty successful partnership around bringing Box and IBM together. We saw Relay a bit earlier around the future of workflow. We're operating on the IBM cloud. We're really excited about some of the joint work we're doing together. How do you see the kind of future of the landscape on IBM? You guys have been going through a lot of transformation, again, from a cloud and a cognitive or AI side. What's the kind of future of this partnership and where IBM's going?
Well, I think this partnership is key to where we're going. So I would say we're very focused on professional AI backed up with an enterprise cloud, which means a multi-cloud solution. Because not everything is going to move to the cloud. We're going to connect on-prem. We're going to connect multiple clouds. We're going to connect different applications. We tend to be more Linux-focused than other operating systems, so it's more open. But I was pleased to hear Scott say the same thing.
Right.
So we're getting to a very open system where people can plug and play. The second thing, though, is we're very focused on embedding this in professional workflows. So that's where this partnership is so key, is that all can be automated. The next step is to take all those repeatable tasks of Relay and use AI to actually automate them completely, which will free up even more human time to do other things. And that's where we're going. And I'd say lastly, we tend to do that focused by industries.
Right.
So healthcare, legal, finance, accounting, these all take different workflows and different skills, and they have to be trained in different ways.
Right. Awesome. David Kenny, thank you so much. We're really excited to work on a non-dystopian AI future with you guys. So thank you very much for coming out here.
Take care.
What do you think of intelligence in Box? Amazing, huh? So we think the next 5 years, the way that people engage with content, interact with it, secure it, manage it, engage in workflows with it is going to be completely different from what we've seen in the past 25. But we're not done. There's more. So if you think about what we showed you so far is Box Skills, which basically extracts a lot of great, amazing insights from individual files. But there's also insights to be had with what's happening around the file, not just inside the file. And the relationships that you have with two pieces of content, or between content and people, or between people and people, can be hugely instructive in going out and answering some questions around how your organization works in general. So imagine if you wanted to know what's the most actively trending file, or what do you want to, who are the most active people that are collaborating within the organization. That's a pretty kind of amazing set of insights that you can start getting back from the system. And to solve this problem, we actually have built our own machine learning algorithm to basically interpret all the interactions that are starting to happen with, within the system. Not just within the system within Box, but if you might even have kind of inputs that are happening in the system from other third-party applications. You might be working in Slack, and you want to go out and upload a file from Slack into Box, or you're in Office 365 and you want to go out and edit a file over there. We use all of those as mechanisms of input into, into Box, and then make sure that that can then, those interrelationships can then be very instructive in how we answer some questions. And this is a continuously improving model that's living, breathing, and constantly learning from the different systems. In fact, what we've done is we've also built a scorekeeper service, which actually weighs exactly what the priorities are of the different interactions that might be happening through our machine learning, and then making sure that that actually can be fed back to the system so that we can provide you with the right level of insights. And this technology is what we call the Box Graph. So anytime you feel like you want to show enthusiasm, applause is a great way to do it. We compete in the back by how many applauses each one of us gets in the keynote, so this is great. But so what is this actually? There you go, keep going. So what does this actually mean for practical use? And what we're doing is we're actually using the Box Graph to power a bunch of experiences within Box. And the first category of experiences we feel that this is going to have a meaningful impact on is productivity itself. For that, we're introducing a new capability within the product called Box Feed. And Box Feed is basically going to be a new way to discover content powered by Box Graph within Box. So let me kind of explain that to you. Actually, no, I'm just going to keep asking for applause. So how about that one? I see the enthusiasm waning down, so I'll stop doing that now. So for Box Feed, let me actually walk you through what this does, because if you think about the way that we interact with content right now, how do we do it? We typically browse through content. And you might go through a folder structure. And that's good for a certain amount of volume, but then it's pretty hard to keep browsing through content, remembering where everything is. So then we have search, where you search for content. What hasn't really been cracked in the enterprise is how do you recommend and surface content that's most relevant to you, that's most topical to you, that you want to go out and do something with. And that's what we've designed Feed for. So there's three very, very specific ways that you'll actually start seeing content surfaced up to you. Because the goal over here is better discoverability and making sure that you have the right content at the right time, at the right moment, so that you can go out and work in a more productive way. So the way that we're going to do this is the three ways that this is going to manifest from a capability perspective. The first one is through active content. So imagine that you're app mentioned in a document, or you've actually provided a comment on a document, you've edited a document in the past. Those are areas where we'll actually be able to take those signals and make sure that we actually surface that content to you. G2, you edited this document, it's been a couple days, but there's an edit that's happened by someone else. Chances are you might want to take a look at it, right? So that's the first way, is active content actually starts getting surfaced up. The second way to do it is actually more relevant content, but I might not personally be the one who had contributed to that content, but I want to make sure that it's actually relevant to me. For example, I had a customer call with a CIO of a company, And I know that Aaron, and then Aaron's going to be meeting with them later, and the graph knows that Aaron and I work pretty closely together on things other than his wedding planning. And so, wouldn't it make sense to say, let's surface that up to Aaron so that before he goes and speaks to the customer, he has all the context of the notes that were taken. And so that's kind of relevant content based on what the graph assesses as the, kind of the tightness and weight of the relationships. And then the third area is around trending content within the organization. So think about trending content where I've got a all-hands video from a CEO, or there's a benefits and perks package that recently came out that's actually getting very popular and trending within the organization. That probably should start surfacing up to me as well so that I can go out and take a look at it and I don't have to go out and search for it. So the thing that we're trying to do over here is the amount of content that we generate, the level of consumption of that content tends to be far lower than what we had initially anticipated that the consumption would be. And what the feed does is actually starts kind of surfacing that up. So you can just have a better way of the rate of consumption, and it just becomes easier and frictionless for you. So feed powered by BoxGraph will be coming in 2018. And that's kind of the first set of experiences you're going to start seeing built on BoxGraph. But there's actually more, because that's just one area where you can actually see the BoxGraph adding a whole lot of value. The other area, if you can think of, is security. I mean, think about the anomalies that might be happening behavior-wise within your organization, and those, detecting those anomalies, saying this is actually unusual behavior for G2 to download 500 gigabytes of content because Aaron fired him because he didn't like the joke on stage, would be something that needs to get surfaced up on the day before he's going to be leaving. And so, security is the other area where there's a huge amount of innovation that'll happen through threat prevention, anomaly detection, and the BoxGraph will start to power a lot of those experiences. The third area, as Jenica talked about, is workflow, right? So in the workflow segment, you can start to see that we can now start having the graph that can very securely start to position what might be things that you might want to work on in the graph as well. And then lastly, the administrators that actually go out and look at the pattern of work and what value these technologies are having, they might want to look at the insights that are being collected within the organization, saying, how are people working within my organization? Who's sharing the most? Who's actually not using these systems? They'll be able to go out and get the insights that are also powered by BoxGraph. So we're really, really excited about Feed. That'll be a fundamental way that you can actually start to see the discovery of information. And so if you look back and kind of think of how the implications of AI, we're just starting to scratch the surface, but there's such a tremendous amount of potential of what AI can do within the enterprise, and we'd like to be there to kind of go out and help with that in every way we can in the way that people work with Box. So what have we talked about so far? We've talked about, in intelligence, 2 major categories of innovations that we announced. The first one, Box Skills. And with Box Skills, specifically, the goal was how do we bring all the innovation that's happening from a machine learning standpoint and billions of dollars being spent in the industry and bring those innovations to your content in Box so that we can make sure that we can have a extremely potent experience with the content. And then the second area is how do you go out and just understand the patterns around the content that are happening within your organization as well. That's BoxGraph, and that's our own machine learning algorithm that we're building and a model that we're building to go do that. So that's Box Skills and BoxGraph, and the one thing that we want to make sure is that we are extremely focused on making sure that these capabilities that start getting rolled out to you are all, it is your data. We're not confused about the fact that the data that's in Box is our customer's data, and the customer should explicitly want to opt into that data so that they can make sure that they have, they have these capabilities. This is not just going to get turned on. You will explicitly opt into the data. Our other design goal is make it completely frictionless. And the third one is we want to really make sure that we leverage the innovation of the ecosystem so that all of the velocity of innovation that's happening in the ecosystem can act as a tailwind so that your experience in Box continues to get better as a customer. So we are extremely excited about this. This is, we think, and we're just starting to scratch the surface. This is the very beginning. And the way you should think about this is, welcome to the beginning of intelligence at Box. So what do you folks think? So, what I wanted to do with that is make sure that I actually invite our I wanted to invite our groom back on stage. I'm sorry, our CEO back on stage, so that he can go on with the next steps here. So, Aaron.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, G2. So this morning, we've shared some new ways that you're going to be able to work in the digital age. All new experiences around the future of collaboration on Box with your content, the ability to use Box for simplifying business process and workflow around content, and then ultimately, how do you bring intelligence to cloud content management to make it smarter and begin to work more on your behalf and bring out more insights from your information. And the whole power of BoxWorks, and I think why we're all in this room, is because I think there's a massive opportunity in front of all of us to completely change this industry and to completely change that our organizations operate and the way that we work together. And we're incredibly excited to partner with you on this journey.